Colloquium series, which is being held every Wednesday throughout the semester. So generally this platform has been designed to inspire, enlighten and spark curiosity as we are bringing accomplished professionals and thought leaders to share their journeys and insights. We are truly honored to have with us today Shri Vinay Kumar and Shri Nilesh Goswami. Both are from 1995-99 batch. Vinay, with over 25 years of professional experience, currently serves as Associate Director and Global Lead for the Insurance Policy Administration Product COE at DXC Technology. After graduating from NIT in June 1999, he has worked for Patni Computer Systems for 6 years and has been with DXC Technology for nearly 20 years. So during this time, he has held multiple leadership roles in delivery, client management and sales. He is highly regarded for successfully leading large complex transformation projects. Nilesh Goswami is an internationally certified coach specializing in holistic wellness, subconscious mind training and abundance coaching. Also, with more than 25 years of professional experience, he has transitioned from a successful career as a technocrat and corporate leader to a life coach. He integrates science-backed techniques like neuro-linguistic programming, stress management, memory enhancement, and energy healing to empower individuals and organizations. He was formerly from Indian Engineering Services Officer and he holds the Electrical Engineering with honors degree from NIT Kurukshetra and also MBA Gold Medalist from IPS Hyderabad. He has also completed leadership development programs from ISB Hyderabad and IIM Indore. Before pursuing coaching, he held senior roles in prestigious organizations like NIT Kurukshetra, Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, Indian Ordnance Factories, Reliance Infrastructure Limited, Bharti Infratel Limited and Tata Projects Limited. So his extensive corporate experience equips him to provide practical, results-oriented coaching that bridges personal and professional growth. He is also author of the Amazon bestseller, Secrets to Get Your Dream Life. And he has also developed a Meditate subconscious programming, which is a unique methodology designed to help the individuals reprogram their subconscious mind, manage stress, enhance memory, and achieve holistic well-being. So, with their vast experience and exceptional achievements, Shri Vinay Kumar and Shri Nilesh Goswami are the perfect speakers for this initiative. So please join me in extending a warm welcome to Shri Vinay Kumar and Shri Nilesh Goswami.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now to formally commence our Alumni Colloquium, I am delighted to introduce Mr. Vinay Jain and Mr. Nilesh Goswami, our esteemed alumni of NIT Kurukshetra.
With more than 25 years of professional experience, Mr. Vinay Kumar is working as Associate Director and Global Lead for Insurance Policy Administration Product wholly for DXC Technology. After graduating from NIT Kurukshetra in June 1999, he worked for Patni Computer Systems for 6 years and has been with DXC Technology for close to 20 years, where he served in multiple delivery leadership, client management, and sales roles. He is widely respected for delivering large and complex transformation projects. He lives in New Delhi with his wife, son, and parents, cooking, reading, and long walks as stress busters for him.
Nilesh Goswami, an internationally certified coach and former IAS officer, specializes in holistic wellness, subconscious mind training, and abundance coaching. With over 25 years of experience, he integrates NLP, stress management, and energy healing to drive personal and professional growth. Author of the amazing #1 bestseller, 7 Secrets to Get Your Dream Life, he pioneered Meditate subconscious programming to help individuals reprogram their minds and achieve holistic well-being. His transformative programs foster success, happiness, and fulfillment.
And with this, I would now like to call upon Vinay sir and Nilesh sir to the podium to share their thoughts with us. Please give them a huge round of applause.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. And I'm just one of you, just 25 years older than all of you. And you. First of all, as I stand here, my heart is filled with gratitude. Gratitude for this great institute. Gratitude for all the professors, all the faculty members that helped shape my career, my life. Thank you very much. Also, I want to thank the alumni for inviting me and giving me such an honor, which honestly I didn't expect. I planned just that I'll talk to you guys, do some interactions, share some of my experiences, but thank you so much. I'm really feeling grateful for everything that you've done for us. Now to talk about what I have done in my life, I think I will not spend time on going through the introduction. I just say that I live in Delhi with a lovely family. My son is in first year. He is probably warming benches in another institute, he is in first year NITK. So he's one of you. And when I talk to him, I really understand that where today's student is versus where we were. With all the information available, social media, level of communication that was unthinkable at that time, when we were students. I think world has really moved on. And then I thought about that, what should I talk to you about? And my first thought was, let me ask you guys that, what do you want me to talk about? I'm sure that between me and Naresh, we should be able to find some life story that we would be able to relate to that and then talk to you about that. How did we acted in that situation? I'm not saying that how did we handle it. I'm sure that we would have failed many times, but as I said that it's okay to fail, and it is more important that we fail fast so that we can get on our legs even faster. So I think that is what I initially thought. But then talking to Pratibha ma'am, I thought that let me organize some thoughts and put those in front of you, and then we can take it from there. And any questions you guys have, I'll be more than happy to discuss that with you. So what I thought that let me start talk to you guys about that. When you move out of college and go to a corporate world, what does it mean or how does it look like? I don't know how many of you have that question on your mind, but to me when I went out to the college, and especially not so much information available, internet was in its infancy, so I think it was very difficult to know how I'm gonna react to when I land on my job, when I start working in a world which is very alien, and there's a lot of anxiety that I had at that time. I'm sure that you probably do not have that, but still, unless you are inside that well, and I would call it a well because there are boundaries, there are ring fencing that is done around a lot of things that you want to do or you do as a part of the job. So I thought that I will talk about that what are the key things that you would observe or what you will feel differently when you move from college to corporate. So does that sound something interesting you want to talk? Okay, so let me talk about first thing first that comes to everybody's mind when we talk about moving to a corporate. We will talk about the work culture, right? how is the work ethics or like how is the work culture inside an organization and how it is different from when you are in college. And there is a term which is in my mind used very loosely is professionalism. That how is when you transition to that, what kind of professionalism you would have to instill in yourself to be successful, right? And I say this is a loosely used term because to me professionalism is actually a way how you act in any environment, which is of course every environment is reinforced by certain rules and regulations. Like when you're in college, there are timings for the classes, there are timings for the meetings in the hostel. There is rules and regulations around examination, there are rules and regulations around how you are assessed and how you are graded. Then there are rules around when you get into placement, that certain steps you have to pass through good discussions, interviews, and then final lectures. It's no different when you go into an organization that there are certain rules, there are certain regulations which may be different from what you would have in college, but at the end of the day, they are just some rules. As long as you understand those, you follow those to a certain extent. I would say there is a lot of freedom. You will not be successful. So one of the things I would say, and this is if I take an example, I was talking to one of the kid who came who joined us a couple of years back. He came to and asked me that after we had initial introduction meeting, we did some ice breaking, and he asked me and said that Vinay, of course he didn't say Vinay, he said sir. I said okay, we don't use sir anymore, you'll have to call us by the first name. He asked that Vinay, what do I need to do to be successful? I said that my answer to that was, there are many things that you probably will be doing over a period of time to be successful. And success is there's no definition to it. Everybody has its own. It's also time bound. What you want to achieve in first year, first 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and onwards. So to me, is my first reaction, and that's what I want to tell all of you is that it's a very powerful thing for you and you to do when you get into your work the first time. And it may not be even first time, maybe in the initial part of your career, let's say you are even changing a job after a couple of years. Go and talk to your manager and ask him or her that, what are the rules and regulations in the company, or what do you expect me to do in first 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. The reason I say is that when you go and talk to them about that, ask that question, it certainly shows that you have an intent to work, you have an intent to be successful, and that really goes a long way in establishing you in the organization. And not only it would build that bond of trust between the two of you, it will also give you confidence that you have got something that from your management that what they want you to do. And if you talk of that once you understand rules and regulations, what next? To me, this is going to be your longest honeymoon period. Because even when you do your graduation, you get 1 month of vacation, 2 months of vacation. Trust me, first 4 to 5 months, there is very little expectation that any organization would have from a college graduate. The first 6 months to 1 year is all about learning and investing. And I think to me, it's a huge investment that every organization would make into you. And what they would expect from you in return is that you make use of that investment, learn, and be ready to contribute to the growth of that organization and deliver to what you are asked to deliver. Now that brings me to the next question, the next basically persona, if I say, and which is a manager, right? There's a lot of myths around management and manager, and I call a manager the 700 pounds gorilla in the room, right? Whom we are all scared of. But in my experience, and in my experience of being a lead and a manager for almost 20 years, I was pretty fortunate that as I think probably 5 years or 6 years, I was promoted to a manager position. But in the past 20 years, I think I can tell you one thing with a lot of confidence, and that you should take that confidence into when you get into corporate world, that your lead or your manager is your best friend. He or she is most invested, and he or she is the person who would be most interested in ensuring that you are successful. And the reason I say is that if you are not successful, trust me, he or she is not successful at all. So his success is really dependent on how you learn, how you grow, and how do you deliver for the work that he is expected to get delivered on. So when you talk to lead, when you talk to manager, or when you interact with them, I think one of the things that you should be assured of, that the person that you're going to work with, of course with your teams, but your lead and manager, he or she is your best friend. So I think you can really shoot down that 700-pound gorilla, and you can replace that with a good friend that you always wanted to have. Somebody who is your mentor, somebody who is your coach, and as long as you show that intent that you are here to learn, you are here. There is no today's world. Okay. Now, but what happens? Like, some people are successful, some people are not successful, some people are more successful than others, right? So that's the next question, that if it is that simple, then why everybody is not successful? And I tell you a little story, and many of you would have heard, upon a time in jungle, a tiger was chasing a rabbit. He was very hungry and he really wanted to eat. But he chased the rabbit for almost 2 hours, and we know that tiger runs much faster than rabbit. But still couldn't get hold of her. So at the end of that 2 hours, he got really tired and told rabbit that, okay, I accept that I can't catch you, but I want to ask you that I run so fast, how do you manage to run faster than me? Then rabbit said that you were running for food and I was running for my life. Right? I'm sure that many heard this story. And these are the stories that is like your first 3 to 4 years in your professional life. Like when you are in 3 to 4 years, I'm not saying that fun is not important. When you go to any organization, there is a lot of fun activities. There are a lot of opportunities for you to showcase your talent, even grow that talent, even pursue your interest. Like if you are interested in the corporate, in social service, there are a lot of platforms which are available. If you are have certain talent, there are a lot of opportunities to show the talent and enjoy. But at the same time, I would say that the first 4 years that you're going to spend of your professional career, they are really going to shape your career for the rest of your life. And there are 2 things in that. One is that whatever you're going to do for the first 2 years or first 4 years, that is going to become your way of life. Right? Because once you build those habits, that habits would continue. Second thing is that once you build that platform, and I'm talking from an IT, I'm talking of the skills that are required to be successful in the IT industry, and I'm sure that would be aspiring to be in an IT industry and be really successful there. So we talk about the different technologies that just come everywhere. Okay, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay. So a lot of technologies come every day. How do we keep pace with that? How do we be good at that? So, and I was talking to somebody earlier today, that when you are in IT industry, yes, the first 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, you will be spending a lot of time and a lot of learning that you're going to do is going to be around technology. But at the end of the day, what the technology is for? Technology is here to solve a real business problem. So what is really important that when you spend that first 4 years and learning, focus not only on how to write a good piece of code, how to write a code which is efficient, how to write a code which is secure, but it is also important that you learn how to solve a business problem through that coding. So I think to me that is even more important than learning the technology. Trust me, like there are a lot of like colleges today, probably I would say in number of 10,000 in India, who basically have really brilliant kids who can do like a lot of coding. Go to NIT, the training institute, they can teach you coding better than this institute. But what this institute will tell you and what will differentiate you on the world stage is your ability to think through a problem and then solve that problem using technology. So while initially you'll be measured through like how well you code, how quickly you can code, how many problems you can solve, how many tickets you can solve, but do not let that become a barrier for you to think bigger, and there'll be opportunities, a lot of opportunities for you. So I think that's one of the lessons I would say that you should think about, and that how do I contribute to the bigger scale? How do I read that bigger picture, understand that bigger picture, and help contribute to that bigger picture? Okay. Okay. Next thing, like, now how do I read that bigger picture? How do I get to know that bigger picture? So, of course, we need skills for that. So there are technical skills, there are business skills, and there are soft skills. So I'll not talk about technical skills and business skills because you guys are better than me today's world and days. But I'll talk to you about is the soft skills. Being in technology industry, and I would say that when we talk of technology industry, it is probably starts at 100%, 90% technology, 10% soft skills. But as you grow and get to like your 8th, 9th or 10th year, this equation actually reverses. So your soft skills actually starts becoming more important than your technical skills. Because you can find a lot of people basically who can do the technical work, who can code, who can design. Of course, you will be there to guide them with your experience, but really you don't need to code after a certain point of time. What you really need to do, and you should be able to do, is that narrate a problem. As long as you narrate a problem quickly, what it allows you to do, it allows you to break that problem into much smaller chunks. And I'm sure that a lot of you would have heard about agile way of coding, right? Agile methodology, agile, a lot of different names people call it. But it's actually only in technology. It's not only the development life cycle, but it really has to be the way of life, being agile in everything that we do. That's where like your soft skills will become really important. Because you take a role like, if I talk of like somebody as a product owner, which I'm sure that all of you want to be after, say, 8 years, 10 years, right? So what is really required for you to become a product owner, or like a business analyst, or like somebody like who is gonna lead a complex project? So what you really need to do is that you need to have the ability to narrate the problem, break down the problem into the very smaller chunks, so that like it's easy for somebody who is new to understand and solve it. And the reason I wanted to talk about is that, like, as I said earlier, that when you're in early career, what you'll be doing, you will be having thank you. Is it better? Okay. So basically, when you get into like, let's say, get a little bit more senior in your career. So what is really going to happen is that like, and if it relate to like what you were doing in your earlier career. So what you were doing in your earlier career, that you will have a very well-defined, let's say, a problem or a project or a task or a ticket that will be given to you, and you'll be like expected that you code for it. Somebody else will design and you just do the coding. But what is really important that as you grow, you will not be like doing the coding, but you will be like designing the problem, and then you will be like writing the business requirement, as we call it in Harvard. But it's really about like breaking down that problem into the smaller chunks, right? And that's where like your soft skills would come in play. And one of the things that you can really help you to be successful in the career is ability to narrate problem and do the storytelling. Right? Because there will be like different roles that you'll be doing as you grow, but storytelling is one thing that certainly is going to give you a leg up like in doing the work. Okay. Okay, now one of the other things that I want to talk about, and that's like takes me back to like when you get into the college and get into the any corporate and start working for initial like couple of years. That and this is like something which is I would say is more decent. It has always been there, but it is more decent. That what happens that when you go into a project, we all go with an expectation that everybody would be assigned to a Gen AI project or a data science project or like an ML project, right? But reality of the world is that there is only about 10% of the work that happens on these cutting edge technologies. And 90% of the work still happens on the old mainframe technologies, on Java, .NET, or even if I take one level down, a lot of people would be like working on non-coding kind of work, which is more on like the support work, the server support, network support, cyber security. So a lot of like different kind of roles are there, and when you get into organization, really you do not have a choice to do that. When I started my career in '99, somebody told me that mainframe is going to be 30 in 10 years. I'm here 25 years after that, still leading a lot of projects. We are trying to move the same COBOL applications to cloud. Only difference it would be that underlying infrastructure would change from mainframe to cloud, but core technology still would not change. So what I'm trying to say is that like this, many of you would land into some of these core technologies, and you would feel that okay, I'm cheated. I wanted to do Gen AI, but I can't do it. And then what people start doing is that they don't take interest in the work, and they start like studying these more, which I think is a great thing to do. Getting certification, which is again a fantastic thing to do. But what happens eventually is that like they find themselves at a place when they're not focusing on the current job. And when you talk to your managers, when you talk to your leads, they will tell you like very clearly like what is expected out of that. So my advice to all of you would be that you need to build a skill, it is given. And one of the things I talk to my team in every team meeting which I do on a weekly basis is focus on the skills. How do we upskill our teams? Because there is no way you can be successful without upskilling. But what it means is that, and my message, what I'm trying to convey here is that focus on the skills that are required for you to do the job for the day. Focus on that, and at least get to a point where you're able to deliver what is expected out of that of you, so that you can get that thing off your shoulder, that any pressure of not being able to deliver. Once you do that, there is plenty of time for you to learn new technologies, to upskill yourself, do the certification. But in the process, like if you don't do that and focus only on the newer technologies, you really would not be able to be successful in the job. And then I get a lot of like team members coming to me saying that when I learned this technology, I learned that technology. My question to them is, how about the work that was assigned? Because we have to all understand that while employee welfare and all those things are important, companies spend a lot of money on that, but at the end of the day, they are also into a business, and they also have to make money to pay the salaries. This is the hard reality. I know this. It may not sound very good in an outside world, but that's a reality of the industry, that companies will have to make money to pay the salaries, right? So there is a lot to learn, a lot to do, a lot of things to do differently, and to pursue your interest. But at the same time, I think it is important that you be like honest to yourself, be honest to your job. Now, I think one of the other things I want to talk to you. Let me know like when I need to stop. But there's one more thing I want to talk to you. How many was the movie Jab We Met? I'm sure that some of you have watched. Yeah. So this is like one scene in that movie when that actor comes back after like all of the things that he was trying to do, comes back and wants to like rebuild the organization. And I don't know how many of you remember the dialogue. He asked his manager that what is one thing that I'm most scared of, right? And then his manager tells him that you are scared of like stakeholders, and he said that that's the first person I want to meet tomorrow. And the reason I'm giving this example is that I'm telling you this story because this is a story of very real life. Although that wasn't a movie, but this is a story of like very real life. You will come across many situations when you are not ready or not prepared to face a situation. But at the same time, you know that there is no way out of it, because if you don't do that, that project is going to be successful failure. There's going to be like an issue around it. It could be a personal life or a professional life, and then we try to like chicken out of that. And I think that is one of the great lessons from that movie. And I'll tell you like one example from my professional life. I was like leading a project, and it was from like 2015. And this project was to like do a major upgrade to a system like $2 million of like client's money to be spent to be delivered over 8 months. And I was having like multiple projects, so I just assigned that to a project manager and a team assigned and left it on them to do. What I found like in one of the reviews, like 4 months into the project, and we were like 4 weeks away from delivering it to the client for their own testing, their business testing, that project is not even 10% done. Not even 10% of the functionality is working. And I asked project manager that what's going on. And he said, Vinay, I tried my best, but this is where we are. Of course, like it was not an easy situation. And I know the client is not going to be happy about that, of course. And I know this client in person, like, have worked with him many times, and one of the most difficult clients to work with. Then I was talking to my boss. I told this to my boss that, boss, this is the situation, and this project is in deep red. And the client is going to be mad about that. We have 2 contracts which are up for signature with them, and they are not going to solve it if we tell them this problem. But in this situation, if we don't tell them the situation, it is going to be very unfair to them. We had like a lot of discussion on that, a lot of like back and forth. Finally, I told my boss that this is what I want to do. You let me know how you feel about it. I was in the US, I was in a different city, the client was in a different city. I said, I'm going to take a flight tomorrow morning to the client, telling that I need to speak to you, and I'm going to take this news to him in person. I know this is not going to be an easy conversation. And when I was on flight, I was thinking of all the 4 letters, what is going to tell me. And I know that he probably even may say that I don't need to know the project. But one of the things I thought that is why it is important to tell him now. One, that it would put a right face of the organization in front of client. Second thing, what it will do is that it will give him like some time to think through. We still have 4 weeks to go. We probably can like give probably like put together a plan, we deliver that in phases. But if I tell them like 4 weeks down the line and saying that we are delivering only 25%, that's going to be even worse. So I did that, took the flight, went to the client, broke in the news, he was mad. We had to like re-plan the project, delivered after 4 months. Had to take some hit on financials of the company side. But at the end of the day, we delivered the project. And interestingly, the 2 contracts that we had to sign with the client signed both of them, and then we had a client conference like 3 months down the line, not even 3, I think it was this time was in May and our conference was in November, so about 6 months down the line. We had our annual client conference, he was invited to that, he was there, and he called like me and our vice president, who was like head of insurance business unit, and said that, I want to tell you, you probably already know, I want to tell you about the RED project, and we can talk about the RED project, but one of the things I can tell you that I'm really proud of having somebody like Vinay on the team, because he was courageous enough to tell me the bad news without even knowing the solution. So guys, one of the things I want to tell you that you'll find many situations when you have done something and it is not meeting the right expectations, or you are not able to deliver the work, or you produce a piece of code that is not working. This will happen every now and then. But what is really important is that you show your integrity, stay honest in that situation, talk to the people, and trust me, more likely than not, you are gonna have support for that. And I'll use a real-time example, like after being in the industry for about 15 years, the situation came and still I could find support. And I'm hoping that you will be fine in that situation many times. This kind of situation, but you'll be in a situation when things are not working. And it is very important like that you show that when you talk about professionalism, the loose term that I used, so that term starts to get tightened here, and then this is the real professionalism that organizations expect out of you. Okay, so I'll take probably last sentence and then I will close. Now, how do we do all of that? How do we accomplish all of that? How do I skill myself? How do I run faster than the tiger? How do I build all of my skill? How do I grow my soft skills? Everything, and my own passion. How do I enjoy also? So is there enough time? So I don't have an answer to that, but there is only one solution to that, and that's old, plain, hard work. It still works. Okay? Thank you. I think take questions if there are any. I think before I manage. Or you think that let Nilesh speak? Thank you, everyone. I hope this was helpful.